So you want a whole bag?
Probably irons at the moment. Could be.
And good morning, golfing world. It's TGD Today. It's Pro Golf Talk Live with HR3. Hugh Roy III's in the house, along with the Godfather, George Honeycutt. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm hanging in there. Yourself?
Are you ready for a good old-fashioned backside whipping this weekend?
Yeah, give it your best.
Okay. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the others. I'm not going to do it.
We'll see.
I'm just going along to watch you.
Yeah, we'll see how rusty
I'm
I
actually
am.
participating, and then I look forward to just basically being a very high-priced spectator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Huh? Wink, wink,
So what
nudge,
you're saying
nudge.
is donator.
I'm a donator. That's it. As the legend would say, you have donators, then you have players. All right, moving on. Pro Golf Talk Live. Lots going on. Let's start off with a major championships being held this week. And, of course, we're talking about the Women's British Open. And they are at Trump Turnberry. Mr. Trump is on property in the house. He made a promise a year ago that he would be there. Of course, since that time, he's decided to run for president. And we're not going to get into politics, Hugh, but he did fulfill his promise and has swept over there for the tournament.
Yeah, I'm glad he did, because I tell you what, like I said earlier, it's one of my favorite golf courses, and it's a gorgeous test. And the scores these girls are shooting, pretty amazing.
Well, Haiju Kim is the leader in the clubhouse with a 7 under 65 at Turnberry. Obviously, the weather is very docile, very down. Beautiful sunshine. Temperatures are moderate. They're in the Fahrenheit-wise in the high 60s. But they're taking it apart, dude. And Lydia Ko, bless her heart, here she's back. And I guess her and her work with Ledbetter, I guess she feels more confident with her draw, which is what she played primarily this morning in watching some coverage of her. But she shoots 6 under 66. So she's one shot behind the leader, Kim, and there's another score. Quebec is at 5 under par. Shinho is at 4 under. Mika is at 4 under. Parker's at 4 under. Lou's at 4 under. Kathy Burnett's at 4 under. Jin Young Ko is at 4 under par. So at one point in time, I want to look down the leaderboard here, Hugh, but at one point in time, Christy Kerr was ripping this thing apart. She was 5 under through 8.
She's at 3 now.
Yeah, she's dropped back to 3 under through 13. Anna Norquist is 3 under through 12. Julie Inkster, here's Julie again. You talk about ATM, we talk about,
lady just
Jim
knows how
Furyk.
to golf her ball. Yeah.
Doesn't she know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just there every week. And, it's amazing at her age. And, I mean, she's reared a family and gotten the kids through school and all that. But yet you still see her participate in 20, 25 events a year. I mean, it's just, wow.
When it's in your blood, George,
So
it's in
impressive,
your blood.
I guess. Yeah.
You look at the scores, you go all the way down to 1 under par. I mean, it's tied for 33rd. I mean, there's a lot of under par scores this morning.
Well, that speaks to the weather, no doubt about it.
No question.
So I saw somewhat of a long-range forecast for them. It could get iffy tomorrow, may get iffy Saturday afternoon. Then Sunday's supposed to be okay. So, again, Turnberry playing pretty
docile.
Pretty docile.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
good
it's
word.
Not normal for there either, because we played there back when I was an amateur, and I mean that golf course we played it. I think it was about 4 or 5 days after the Open. They still had the grandstands up, and that wind blew, and it was cold, and I mean it's a golf course, and for these girls to shoot these numbers, it's kudos to them.
Well, a couple of players that I was really interested in that I thought would do well, they're not starting off so well. Brooke Henderson, the Canadian phenom, of course, she's showing distance numbers that have not been seen except for maybe Lisa Lett, or if you look at maybe a couple of the other longer hitters, Suzanne Patterson, maybe that. But I really thought Brooke Henderson would be able to go over there and establish herself, but she's at 1 over par through 15. Paula Creamer, who has been playing well this year, she's at 1 over through 15. So the likes of Natalie Galbus, Michelle Wee, I didn't expect them to do anything. Morgan Pretzels at 2 over. She's finished for the day with a 74. Georgia Hall, 2 over with a 74. She's finished. Uribe is 2 over with a 74. Charlie Hull, who a lot of people were talking about that she could be the favorite this week, she's at 2 over through 13. So Brittany Lincecum, 3 over through. She's done for the day, actually.
Yeah.
She just finished up 75.
Michelle Wee, 4 over 76.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that Michelle even teed it up, frankly.
Yeah.
You
look at Brittany Lang, same thing, 76. I mean, they're tied for 123rd. I mean, this cut's going to be low unless they do get some bad weather and some people can make up some ground. But, I mean, when Kari Webb goes over there and shoots 80, I mean,
I was just looking at that. I mean, there's got to be something wrong with Kari. I mean, she's
got to be.
I'm not sure if it's physical or psychological. I'm not quite sure. She just hasn't been playing good golf, and there's nothing there I can seem to put my finger on. She's such a grinder, and she's got a great golf swing. She's wonderful at course management.
Yes,
but she's just not posting any numbers.
Yeah, I think it's more of how much is she into it, and is she going through the motions, or what is she just playing bad?
Is she kind of just hit that wall to where maybe it's not fun for her right now?
Everybody's been there, so I mean it very well could be. I expected more out of Maria Jose Uribe, and she's at 2 over, and she was playing very well, and I follow her because I was able to teach her when I was in Hilton Head, and the lady's a great talent. And watching her Facebook posts and swing and doing things, she felt good about it. And she goes out and shoots 2 over. But again, it's a national championship. It's a major, and funny things happen.
Well, they do happen. And again, some of these, you got horses for courses, and if the weather gets nasty, say in round 2, then some of these ladies could definitely make a move back up by shooting 68, 69.
They could probably go out and shoot 70 to 72 and move up a bunch. I mean, when the weather gets bad on this golf course, it is on the ocean. When you get out by the lighthouse out there on that point, it's brutal. I mean, that wind can absolutely blow you over. So, it just depends. We'll have to see what the weather does and what the conditions are.
With Kim, though, with it being the weather laying down today, the way it has done is shooting 7 under, and then the several scores that are at 6 and 5 and 4. They've kind of given themselves a nice little buffer in case the weather does get bad.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's insurance policy almost.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care if somebody, even in bad conditions, goes low. They're still pretty much they could go out and shoot a couple over and still feel very comfortable at 4 under par.
Oh, I agree.
After 2 days. So, again, some of the names that we didn't expect to see there, but it looks like for the day, Laura Davies, now Hall of Famer. She shoots even par 72. Aya Miyazato, she's at even par. Jessica Corda's at even par. They are finished with their rounds. So, again, the names that we kind of thought would be at the top of the leaderboard are not. I have to do an Azera Munoz update. Why do you laugh? I have to keep an eye out for Azera.
I hear you.
This year is the year of Sergio and Azera Munoz.
Okay.
And I'm waiting for the country of Spain to give me some property or whatever for my support.
Yeah, well.
During the calendar year, so. But, again, she's at 2 under par. She's still out on the golf course, so I'll be sure to check out that for you and give you a report back.
I appreciate that.
So, Trump Turnberry again. Donald Trump's been in the news a lot lately, Hugh. The announcement, of course, that he lost a quote-unquote tournament at one of his courses. So I don't know. Trump Turnberry, I think it was good that he came in and bought it and basically revamped this thing. And for what I saw of the golf course, it looks spectacular. It really does.
Oh, it does. And then there's nothing really cooler than when, at night when everybody's kind of just hanging out and the bagpipe man's out there playing. It's one of those eerie kind of things, but it's a really, really cool place.
Well, let's talk a little bit. Let's get back on this side of the pond, domestic side, and of course the famous hosted by Tiger Woods Quicken Loans being played at the Robert Trent Jones Golf Course in Gainesville, Virginia. Actually, they tout it as being right in the backyard of Washington, D.C., of course, but it is in Virginia, so just across the state line. And, again, Tiger is hosting the event. He is playing in the event. This is a $6.7 million event. Right now, Stephen Wheatcroft is 4 under par through 12. Retief Goosen, 4 under par through 10. Justin Leonard, 4 under par through 10. Ryo Ishikawa is 4 under through 8. Jason Bone, 3 under. Kevin Chappell at 3 under. Johnson Wagner, again, here's Johnson Wagner, dude. Mm-hmm. Where the heck did he come from? Did he get an IV or something? Or?
He might have. We've got
What's up with him, dude?
Heather's favorite, KJ Choi's up there at 2 under
Oh,
par.
I wasn't going to bring it up. Heather's probably already started. Their skin's crawling right now. She's happy. Her boy is in the hunt.
Oh, yeah.
So, although Heather, it's only about 4 hours into day one, so let's not get too excited. Jason Gore, 2 under. Chad Campbell's 2 under. Sangmu Bay is at 2 under par. So, everybody's going out and shooting their numbers. Really, I can't wait to report on what's happening in Europe today. We have 2 tournaments going on over there, and one of which I watched a little bit this morning of one John Daly playing and participating in one of them.
Really?
Yeah. So, and, dude, I have to tell you this, okay? It takes a lot for me to admit this. He's actually wearing a pair of pants today that I would not be caught dead in. Nor do I think Mr. Biggs would.
That's surprising.
That's saying a lot.
That's surprising.
I know. I thought I would be surprising you. So, Ricky Fowler's at 1 under through 9. Harris English 1 under through 9. Mark Wilson 1 under. Angel Cabrera at 1 under. Colt Knost at 1 under. Ken Duke 1 under. Carl Peterson, Max Homa. Just about the whole field's at 1 under par. Bryce Mulder had actually gotten to 3 under. He's now back to even through 14. Again, Bryce Mulder just trying to do what he can to keep his card. Tony Finau, of course, the rookie. He will win Rookie of the Year. There's no doubt about it.
I don't think
he's pretty much got it wrapped up, doesn't he? So Stuart Sink, again, had a good Open Championship last week. He's back in the hunt again. He's at even par through 10. So, the guys are going. There's a bunch of them going at 4 and 3 and 2. Hugh, does anybody break out and shoot 6, 7?
It's possible, George, but I tell you, on a Robert Trent Jones golf course, that's just not an easy thing to do. It's looking at any golf course that he's designed. And they look wide open till you get to the driving area, and then it narrows up to about 20, 22 yards, and they got some length to them, and you've got some big greens with undulations. And, it's hard to score around these things. You shoot 4 under par around here every day, you're going to have a chance to win.
Well, that's what I wanted to comment on, too. Trent Jones, RTJ, as we used to refer to it there in the Georgia aspects when they were building the Trent Jones Trail through Alabama. It was just phenomenal how we would go over and visit one of those golf courses at the acreage that the green complex is covered and the amount of undulation that were on those. And, you were looking at putts that could break 25 to 35 feet in any one direction, or you literally, you could have a downhill putt that dropped almost 2 stories.
Oh, yeah, and you've got to he does everything in quadrants, and if you don't put your ball on the green in that quadrant, good luck. That's just the way it is. It's just that difficult. But, it'll be interesting to see. I read something yesterday, about how, the tournament sponsors and Tiger, they're a little upset because of the positioning of the tournament during the year as to the quality of the field. But you've got some really good players in this field,
Well, you do.
so it doesn't really matter. But they did a big thing.
Where
about
else
that.
would you put it? I mean, there was a lot of talk last week at the RBC Canadian Open about the same thing. Is this butting up against the British, the Open Championship? Is that bad for it or good for it? Well, those that want to play in it are going to play in it.
Yeah.
Primarily everybody that played in the Open lives in the U.S. now, whatever reason. So it's a quick hop and stop for them, except for Jason Day. He's got to figure out how does he get the Winnebago on the plane.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can have this discussion about any tournament on the tour.
Well, I agree with you 100%. And I don't, it's a couple of weeks after, the British Open. Guys have had a chance to take a break, and some of them are coming out and playing. Some of them, they may take 2 or 3 weeks off. But, everybody does their schedule differently. It's all based on, what you want to play in, the courses you want to play, and your family.
I think what it is I think the big argument, and I agree with this somewhat, and if I was your consult sitting down with you working up a schedule, I would say the same thing. Okay, do you want to play this week in Tiger's event, or do you want to accept that invitation for the WGC next week at Firestone?
Well, I think you go to Firestone.
Exactly.
That's just my own opinion. But, I mean, this is this tournament, though, in the past has been in a little different situation and had great fields.
Mm-hmm.
So, they may have a little bit of an argument, but, again, the tour is going to set the schedule.
So what are you going to do now? Move it to after the FedEx, or do you make it part of the FedEx?
I mean, and that's what he's trying to do is keep this to where it's part of guys getting points to get into the FedEx, and that's what they want to do. So if that's the case, you've got to accept where they put it.
That's right. There's nowhere else to put it.
No.
So if you want to be to where, yes, we want people to come here to get FedEx Cup points to get into the chase, then you got to leave it where it is and quit complaining.
Yeah.
Quit crying about it.
Yeah. Do more to.
If you want it to become part of the chase itself, then, you may be able to get what you asked for.
Yeah.
Or you wait till after East Lake and then they put it into the next year's schedule.
Yeah.
Where it really don't mean anything because everybody's taking their, of course, their mid-October through January off.
Yeah.
So, you can complain and deal with this all you want, but, it's like race schedules or whatever. You're going to have 40 races, so you might as well just plan on it.
Yeah, and guys are going to make their schedule, and they're going to, and you look at the list. I mean, you've got Goosen, Justin Leonard, Ishikawa, Wagner, Bone, Jason Gore, Chad Campbell, Cabrera's there.
Well, you got Ricky. Ricky.
Ricky's there.
That's a big draw.
Yeah.
You've got the names there, and real quick, I got to mention this before we break away, Hugh, but what's up with Billy Hurley in that whole situation?
I really
does his father have Alzheimer's or dementia?
I don't know, and everybody even, and I don't know Billy personally, but I mean, I reposted, the thing on Facebook to try to help because nobody knows where his dad is. And
I mean, it's been 10 days.
This poor kid's just got to be
distraught.
Exactly, and it's a shame, and it's I don't know what can be done. He's got everybody on the tour and everybody in the media trying to help. So hopefully they can find him and he will be okay. And
I think everybody knows the story, but Billy Hurley's father last week got in his pickup truck, lives just outside the golf course here in Virginia, and decided to actually he lives just outside of Annapolis, Maryland. I'm sorry, I stand corrected. And got in his pickup truck and just drove away, didn't say anything to anybody. Several days later, checked into a hotel in Texarkana, I believe, Texas. And that's the last that anyone has seen or heard from him. And, the mother filed a missing persons report, I guess, after 48 hours or 72 hours or something like that. And Billy Hurley III goes in front of the media was it yesterday or day before yesterday? I believe it was yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
And basically breaks down into tears and emotions about his dad and saying, Dad, if you can hear me or watching or interested if I'm playing this week, just call one of us and let us know you're okay. Otherwise, there's been no communication. But interestingly, I saw where the police supposedly have stated they do not see that there's been any, what am I looking for?
Foul play.
Foul play. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously something they've evidently been following credit cards or whatever for gas purchases and now hotel and this, that, and the other. I don't know. So it's a strange situation. I guess we'll get a follow-up to that. So there's a lot of media outlets that'll cover that for sure.
A lot of people are.
So, okay, let's catch up, everybody, on the European Tour. I mentioned earlier, and this is one of those interesting weeks on the European Tour to where you have two events going on at the same time. You see this on the PGA Tour. Now we see it on the European Tour. First off, we'll talk about is the Saltair Energy Paul Lawrie match play. This is at Makar, I think is the way you pronounce it. Makar Links Golf Club in Aberdeen, Scotland. Beautiful golf course, by the way, right there on the ocean. It's several holes play along the water. Absolutely gorgeous. But this is a match play event to where you're one and done. If you go in and get beat, thanks for coming. Don't let the door hit you in the backside on the way out.
Yeah.
So just to kind of give you a rundown, again, 18 holes, match play. So they go out. Matthew Fitzpatrick, the young man who we just talked a lot about on Monday Morning Golf Wrap here this week, that played extremely well in Switzerland just last week. He ends up winning today over Bradley Dredge, 6-4. So he handily handles that match. Eduardo Molinari beats Magnus Carlsen, 5-4. So that was quite taken care of well. Chris Wood wins his match against Jeb Kruber. He wins 5-4. George Campillo beats John Daly, 2 holes left. So Daly, again, thanks for coming. Good seeing you. Adios. Alexander Levy wins by 2 over Mark Foster. This is an individual, Hugh, that I would absolutely love to get him over here to work with you, because this guy absolutely has one of the purest golf swings, and he is so much fun to watch play until he gets within about 30 yards of the green. And then I swear, bud, it looks like that somebody reaches over and flips the switch until he gets through making his 4th putt, and then they flip it back on when he walks up to the tee box. And that's Quiros, man, Alvaro Quiros. What a talent of ball striking this individual has. I mean, God, he and Jeff Ogilvy, you could put them in the same format, the same silhouette, and they would almost look identical. You couldn't tell them apart. And I watched him hit some shots this morning, and I'm going, man, would I love to swing like that. I mean, it's, kind of like the Louis Oosthuizen, Charles Schwartzel, just wonderful ball striker. But Lord have mercy, you get him 50 yards and in, and I don't know what happens. He kind of looks like a little bit of Keegan Bradley, Chunk and Dunk, Hunter Mahan, Sergio Garcia, all wrapped into one.
That's frightening.
It is.
It is. That's frightening.
And I look at it and I go, God, if he could come over and work with Hugh for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever, and just get that short game. And I mean, this guy could literally be a top 25 world.
Oh, he hits it 9 miles, no question.
He does.
And he hits it straight. He knows where it's going, but you've got to know how to get it around the greens and get it up and down and do things. I mean, if you hit it that far, you're hitting a lot of wedges. That's got to become a strong suit.
But when you're hitting a wedge into a green and then you got to hit another wedge because you missed that green.
That's not good.
That's not good.
No, that's not good.
And I watch him drive the ball, Hugh, at, 363 today. 363. I mean, that, granted, it only flew probably 308, 309, but it released. But still, folks, to carry 300 yards is a huge feat. No doubt about it. I don't care who you are. That's hitting the golf ball. Okay? He flies it. He overall distance 363, and he missed the green. from 116 yards. It's just, he looked like me.
I tell you what, you get me 120 in,
No, that's what I'm
be
saying.
dangerous.
That's what I'm saying. It's you getting to the 120-yard marker is the problem.
Is the problem. You get old, you get shorter, whatever else. But I mean,
I don't know. We kind of got off path here. So, but I so encourage and hope that Kuros gets this short game, matter taken care of, because as we talked about on this network 150,000 times is, drive for show, putt for dough.
That's exactly right.
So he just can't get the ball in the hole. Robert Rock loses his match to Lundberg, 3-1. Thomas Aiken wins his match over Scott Jamieson, 3-2. Not a lot of known names here. Robert Carlson wins his match, or is winning his match, 2 up after 12. Nicholas Kozarts, who has basically disappeared from the earth, folks. I suspect he's living on a UFO. They just beam him back down every once in a while to let him play golf. But Nicholas right now is 1 up after 11 over Bordy. So David Howell, he's 2 up after 9 over Daniel Brooks. So again, match play, different format. This is basically being sponsored and hosted by the Saltire Energy, and it's being quote-unquote tagline to the Paul Laurie match play. So also on the European Tour this week, as we mentioned, they are in Portugal, Hugh, one of the more beautiful parts of our world.
Madeira Islands, yeah, the Open. And I tell you what, George, they are shooting the grass off this joint.
They are. It's like a fire has gone through, and they're taking every blade off of it.
8 unders leading.
Yeah, Nacho Mama Elvira is just ripped it up at 8 under par.
8 under.
Nacho Mama.
And then you got Ryan Fox at 7. You got Sebastian Gross at 7. Scott Henry at 6, Stuart Manley at 6.
You got a short butt at 6, dude.
I mean, you
could fill up a school bus with the people that are out there shooting 66 today.
I mean, yeah, you look at, your top 9 players are 6 under or better. That's impressive.
That's real impressive.
I mean, that is just guys,
shoot low, Sheriff. They're riding Shetland ponies.
That's right. That's one of the legend's famous sayings. But
yeah.
I mean, you look at it and you go all the way down. I mean, you're looking 1 to 2 under par is going to be the cut line after the first day, and I mean, and that's just guys that can play.
Yeah, you're looking at T86 at even par, so -1's at T61. So
no, T66 now and T89 at par.
Oh, okay.
So it's changing as we speak. It's just, guys are going low, and if you're not playing well, you've got no chance. I mean, Peter Laurie, he's at 1 over, shot 73.
Oh, man.
Adios, dude.
Yeah.
Shoot 66 or better tomorrow, you're going home.
Yeah, I'd go ahead and get that seat reserved. There's no doubt about it. That rental car is going back. Javier Ballesteros, he's at +5 through 18. He's done for the day. Sousa is +5 for the day at 77. Yeah, you're anywhere above par right now in Madeira. You're basically already putting the baggage tags on and making sure you got only small articles in the toiletries.
Oh, absolutely. You got your outfit for tomorrow, your change of clothes, and everything else is packed and ready to go. Because, I mean, this is going to be a low cut. I mean, I see this at being anywhere from 3 to 4 into par.
You're looking at this thing could go 22, 23 under for the winner.
Oh, easily.
No,
easily.
So it's a shootout in Portugal. And, folks, if you get the opportunity, there's going to be very limited television coverage of this event by the BBC. But if you do get the opportunity of seeing some of it, catching some of it, is take that opportunity to do so because the golf course is absolutely gorgeous.
It is.
So I've never played it, but I've seen it and viewed it several years running now, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And where it sits right there in Portugal and the islands and all, it's just gorgeous, man. Great food, too. I have had food there. So,
well, that's something.
Their McDonald's are different.
Yeah.
So, you know me, dude.
Yeah.
A lot going on. European Tour, Women Major Championship, PGA Tour. A couple of weeks away, we got Whistling Straits.
Yep.
We got the PGA Championship, our 4th major of the year for, quote-unquote, the PGA Tour. And then over the next 2 weeks, we're going to be spotlighting Whistling Straits.
I tell you what,
I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. I think it's going to be a good one. I think hopefully they get the bunker situation on 18 figured out, so we have no more
that's been
issues.
figured out. That was figured out with the last time when it happened.
I know, but I think it's going to be a good one.
There was a rule sheet on the back side of it. There was a guideline.
Yeah,
I can't help it if the caddy nor the player reads the rule sheet.
Well, that's
okay.
You hit the nail on the head.
That's right. So that whole situation, yeah, fine. Does he come back? I don't see it. I'm sorry. You know what? I was in his bandwagon the first 2 days at the Open. Yeah. I'm sitting here going, he has put this golf course to its knees. Unbelievable.
He did
and then
that.
all of a sudden, it's like the ADD kicks in.
No, it's not that. You think of it this way, George. You play in some pretty rough weather. Your timing, your tempo gets off, and then when it changes back, it's hard to. It's not an easy thing to do. But he pair of 75s just doesn't cut it.
No, especially on a Monday when it's 65 degrees and sunny and not a breath of wind.
Exactly.
He should have reverted back to that, okay, I'll just blow everything down there on the edge of the green, and if I shoot 75, so be it. But he didn't do that.
Yeah.
He wasn't anywhere close to that mentality. It was almost like he had already slammed the trunk lid. He was already checking the baggage, and he wanted to get back wherever.
And laid
Paulina.
up a lot more than I've seen him ever do that. I mean, compared to the first 2 days.
That's right.
So,
and there was no reason.
No, none.
When a Zach Johnson can go and dink and dunk his way around there and win that tournament versus the big bombers, then St. Andrews on those docile weather days was taken to its knees.
And it very well, that's what we said. It could be done. But when it got rough the one day, you saw the difference in the scores. And then the last day, look what happened.
And they pulled the plug.
Yep.
So, all right, folks, thanks for joining us on TGD today. Of course, Pro Golf Talk Live, we so much enjoy bringing this to you. Coming up, Monday Morning Golf Wrap, of course, we'll be bringing you all the results from these tournaments we talked about today. We'll bring you up to speed on any kind of gossips that's going on in the world of golf. Hugh just loves keeping up on that stuff. So we'll be sharing all that with you. And, of course, we've got the Low Country Open coming up this weekend, the duel between HR3 and the Godfather, and we'll give you a full report on that Monday morning likewise. So I'm looking forward to it, dude. You're going down like a cheap suit.
Okay.
TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. When visiting the Golf Director, be sure to check out our featured course pages where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, and much, much more. Need help with your next golf vacation? Just call Dave. Give us a call right here at the Golf Director and ask for Dave. You can reach us at 844-GO-GOLF1. 844-464-6531. All of our programming is archived, so you can view it and listen to it later on when you demand to. Just go to the TGD Radio or the TGD TV tabs in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. Click on those, and you can view our entire vast library. We're now available on over 1 billion, thank you, devices at iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Blueberry, and, of course, the Myrtle Beach Golf app. For Jeff Behind the Glass, HR3, Hugh Roy III, I'm George Honeycutt. We want to thank you for joining in. We love having you each day, and we want to let you know there's a lot more golf news and information coming up next.